started with a crash. At 2:47 a.m. on a quiet Tuesday in the Nevada desert, an unidentified object pierced Earth's upper atmosphere, glowing a deep azure as it streaked toward the planet. NORAD detected it, of course, but by the time jets scrambled, the object had already carved a trench 2 miles long into the sandy floor of the Mojave. Authorities quickly quarantined the area and dismissed the incident as a downed satellite. A week later, the cover story was already unraveling, because something stepped out of the crater. It was 9:14 p.m. when Elijah Grant, park ranger, war veteran and two-time divorcee, saw her. He'd been inspecting the restricted zone after hearing a low, rhythmic humming coming from beneath the sand, like a heartbeat made of electricity. He pushed aside a collapsed metal panel and dropped his flashlight. The creature, no, the woman, glowed faintly blue. Not in patches but entirely. Her skin was pale, smooth like porcelain, traced with intricate lines of bioluminescence that pulsed in sync with her slow breathing. Her silver hair floated around her face like it was underwater, and her eyes, luminous and impossibly violet, narrowed when they met his. She didn't attack. She stepped forward, unsure, curious, and said something in a language that made Elijah's brain ache just hearing it. A series of warbling syllables, soft yet commanding. Then, after a pause, she repeated it in halting English. "Tell me what to do, human. I just want to be yours." 2. The princess, middle. They called her Relexa, though her full name contained 57 syllables. Elijah couldn't pronounce even 5 of them. After the government carted them off to a black site in Utah, he was given a choice: help the alien acclimate or vanish into a cell forever. Relexa was royalty, a princess of the Tevalari, a species of sentient beings from the Sorrento system, 27 light-years from Earth. Her vessel, the Cerulean Crown, had misfired during a stealth mission and plummeted into Earth's gravity well. She was never supposed to make contact. According to her, Earth was still marked pre-diplomatic. An observation zone, not a partner. "I violated my mother's law," she said one evening, staring at the moon through her reinforced containment cell. "And now I am, without a throne. I was supposed to stay hidden. But when I saw you, I thought perhaps my punishment was a gift." Elijah raised an eyebrow. "You thought I was a gift?" She nodded solemnly. "You saw me. Not as a prisoner, not as a threat. You offered me your jacket. That has meaning on my world." "I was just being polite," he muttered. "Then I accept your politeness as a bond," she replied. "That's how it works." Weeks passed. Relexa's physiology astonished scientists. Organic machinery woven into her nervous system, the ability to regulate her electromagnetic signature, even low-level telepathy. She picked up English fast, helped by Elijah, who was now her designated anchor. In truth, he didn't know what that meant. It sounded like something made up to justify why he was still allowed to see her. They spent hours together. At first, he taught her Earth culture, literature, history, memes, which she found hilarious. But soon the lessons reversed. She told him of the Tevalari, who lived in great floating cities above luminous oceans, who ruled not by war but by consensus. Her people could connect minds, share emotions. Love for them was a spiritual merger, a rare, sacred event. "I cannot return," she confessed one night, "unless I am bonded. Our laws demand atonement through unity. My soul is fractured. I must choose another soul to fuse with, to become one." Elijah rubbed his temples. "And you think I'm that person?" "You already are," she whispered. 3. Escalation, middle continued. By month 3 things changed. The military, frustrated by her refusal to share technological secrets, grew more aggressive. Dr. Karpov, head of the Alien Integration Division, threatened to sedate Relexa and dismantle her neural matrix for science. That's when she destroyed the door. Without touching it. In the blink of an eye, the reinforced titanium door warped inward like it had been melted and folded by invisible hands. A psychic scream echoed through the lab, rendering half the personnel unconscious. Elijah ran to her cell, found her on the floor, crying silent, glowing tears. "I did not want to hurt them," she murmured. "But I will not be dissected." After that, they moved her to an underground vault. Triple-layered walls. No visitors. Elijah was barred entry. But Relexa reached him anyway. At night, in dreams, he heard her voice, saw her memories. She showed him her first swim beneath the twin moons of Kalavar, her coronation ceremony in the crystalline grove, the day she looked up and dreamed of other stars. And finally she asked again, "Tell me what to do, human. I just want to be yours." 4. The escape climax. Elijah made his decision. With help from a few sympathetic insiders, scientists who'd grown to admire Relexa, he devised a plan. They could bypass the psychic dampeners for 30 minutes, long enough to release her and reach the emergency exolift tunnel that led to the desert floor. Everything went to hell at 3:02 a.m. Sirens blared as the vault's failsafes triggered. Armed guards rushed in. But Relexa, still weakened from the dampening field, couldn't defend herself. So Elijah did. He fired a warning shot, then turned the weapon on himself. "Let her go, or I swear I'll pull this trigger. And if I go down, you lose your one bargaining chip." The guards hesitated. In that moment, Relexa rose, her body pulsing with a sudden surge of power. Her eyes glowed like newborn stars. "You would die for me," she said. "I'd rather live," he replied. "But not in a world where you're locked up like an animal." They fled. 32 minutes later, they emerged in the desert. A black drone zipped overhead, but before it could fire, Relexa raised her hand. The drone cracked midair and fell in pieces. Freedom. V. The starfield packed, ending. They lived in hiding for a while. Elijah's old cabin in the Rockies became their sanctuary. The outside world searched, but carefully. The government didn't want to admit they'd lost control of an extraterrestrial royal. Relexa changed in those months. She grew more human in some ways, learned to cook, laughed at sitcoms, even cried at a cheesy romance novel. But in other ways, she remained otherworldly. She still glowed at night, still spoke in dreams, and still carried an air of impossible sadness. "I can't stay here forever," she said one morning watching the sunrise. "My people will find me. Or yours will. Either way, this cannot last." Elijah sighed. "Then what do? We do what bonded souls do," she said softly. "We merge." And he finally understood. It wasn't just love. It was a union. Tevalari-style bonding didn't erase the self. It amplified it. A mental, emotional, even spiritual entanglement. He would never be the same. Nor would she. He stepped forward, took her hand. "Tell me what to do." She smiled, radiant. "Just say yes." "I do." That night, under the stars, they merged. Not physically, though that came later, but psychically, emotionally. The stars around them flared brighter for a moment, as if the universe recognized something ancient and rare. Relexa's form shifted, momentarily incorporeal, and Elijah felt her thoughts fill his mind. Her fears, her dreams, her pain, her joy. And she felt his regrets, his soldier's wounds, his longing for peace.